Welcome back. We are on number 33 in the String Builders book. Um, I'm looking at the cello book for just so you guys know. This is the class reunion. More melodies with dotted quarter notes and eighth notes. So this one, just like some of the other ones we've seen on page 9, it's important to again think about how much bow we're using for each note and for each beat. A lot of these are just going to be long whole bow kind of situations. And today we're going to talk about how to think about rhythms, especially with these dotted rhythms. In one of my previous videos we talked about rhythm, and I have a couple different ways of thinking about rhythms. For those of you that are visual thinkers and that can imagine this, I like to think of the game Snake. And you know how in Snake you start off with like this small itty bitty thing and you go around and collect more. Similar to that, except we have a bunch of snakes and we're not really catching anything. So I like to think of each eighth note as being two little snake bars. So if you think about, in this case we're in 4/4. 4/4, since we have 4 quarter notes, that means we're going to have 8 eighth notes. So they're going to be 8 little 2-bar or 2-dot things. Don't get too caught up on the 2-bar thing, but just as an idea. So 2 little snakes for each, or 2 little, a 2-bar snake for each eighth note. So when I see, for example, in the first full measure of number 33, I see that I have a dotted quarter note and then an eighth note. So for the dotted quarter note, what I'm thinking about and I'm visualizing in my head is a 6-bar snake, because now they're all together, and that's a dotted half note. If it was just a quarter note, or a dotted quarter note, excuse me. If it was just a quarter note, it would be 4-bar snakes instead of just our 2-bar snakes. So that's what I'm visually seeing in my head. And when I'm playing with the metronome, I'm thinking, okay, I'm subdividing my eighth notes as we always do, because we're always subdividing, right? I'm thinking about each one of those as being little snakes. So they're just going by this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and they just keep going. And then when I put them together, that's how I get dotted quarter notes, that's how I get quarter notes, that's how I get longer note values. And that's how I'm visualizing in my head. For those of you that are more of a tactile, you need to feel things, I think they're going to push for 3 eighth notes, and you're thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, as a way to help you organize the sounds. So think that like quarter notes are, or dotted quarter notes are like a push, and the eighth note is like a tap. Because they're shorter, so it's just a feeling, it's just a flick, it's just down. And we need to feel like we're sustaining the sound through those eighth notes, and then we go tap for sustaining through the sound for the dotted quarter notes, and it's just a little tap for the eighth notes. For the quarter notes in this one, I think instead of like a pushing kind of feel or like a forcing forward kind of feel, maybe just like a brush. So for example, the beginning will be brush, push, tap, brush, brush, push, tap, brush, 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 push. It's a dotted, or it's a half note tied to quarter note. So it's 3 beats. So that's a very long push, right? So that's one way to think about it. Now, I just did that without a metronome, so shame on me. So let's put on a metronome and see what that feels like. With that kind of, you can think the snake analogy that I used before, or you can think of the pushing, brush, and taps, depending on what you feel. For me, I think the snake, but I'm going to use the brushing method that we just came up with. Okay, so this is at allegretto, which means a little fast. So I'm going to put it at about, let's say 104. Not too fast, nice comfortable fast, right? Briskly fast. Alright, so my pendulum metronome is going. So if we think about this in the push method that we just talked about, or the touch method that we talked about, it's going to be like this. 1, 2, 3, brush, push, tap, brush, brush, push, tap, brush, 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 push. Right? Sorry, I messed up there. But, and that actually is a great time for me to say, when you're practicing, go slower. I know that there are some people that don't necessarily like to say go slower, but the whole goal of this and this full series and me being on these videos is for us to build our music literacy. If you can build a basic music literacy, which encompasses our 5 laws of music, thank you, one professors, rhythm, notes, dynamics, articulation, style. I keep getting these 2 confused, dynamics and articulation. But those 5 basic laws, if you can get those 5 basic laws down and have them completely solid, then your music literacy is on point, and that's what our goal is. You can take that music literacy and move that, and that's why I personally am able to play multiple instruments, because I have that basic music literacy. So, I messed up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it back a little bit, and I'll go a little slower. And we'll talk about different methods on how to go slower in a later video, and how to play games so that it actually is entertaining. So I have now down to 92, and I'm just going to pick up some measure 4, 5, pick up some measure 5 in class reunion. I'm going to use that same method so I can feel what it feels like to play all these different rhythms. Okay. So it's going to go like this. 1, 2, 3. Brush, push, tap, brush, brush, push, tap, brush, brush, push, tap, push. Oh no, I messed up again. So I need to go slower. Let me go even slower this time. And I want to express now that this is okay to do in your practice sessions. It's okay to make mistakes. That's fantastic, because we can learn from those mistakes. So actually take time to learn from them. So I'm going to do this one more time. Let's see if I can do it, and then I'll play it for you guys so you can hear it and you have a musical example to know what it's supposed to sound like in the future. All right. So same thing. This is pickups to measure 5, doing this weird push tap patty whack thing. Okay. So I'll just count off again. 1, 2, 3. Brush, push, tap, brush, brush, push, tap, brush, 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 tap, tap, brush, brush, push, tap, brush, push, tap, brush, brush, push, tap, brush, brush, push, brush, brush, push, brush, push, push, tap, brush, 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 tap, tap, brush, brush, push. Okay, and that's it. Now, I just came up with that method on the spot, and I don't know if I'll keep it. And that's one of the fun things about playing music, is that we can use these different ideas and try to pull them and try to understand things in different ways. If it makes more sense to think of colors, and maybe a dotted quarter note is blue and an eighth note is yellow and whatever, maybe think of it in that way. If you think of textures, you can think of it textures. If you think of flavors, whatever helps you to understand the music at the end of the day is fine. And share that with your teacher, share that with me, share that with your friends if they're struggling with something. Try to figure out, like, how can we make music and make it better? How can we be better together? That's the whole goal with this, and that's what I want you guys to work towards, is making music and making it better together. Okay? So now I'm going to put on my metronome, my tuner, my drone, and I'm going to play this for you guys so you have a musical example. I'm just going to play it straight through. I'm going to be watching for dynamics. Watch my bow placement so you can actually see, like, how is my bow moving as I'm playing different dynamics. Watch my string crossing. And it says a retardando. I won't be able to turn off my metronome, so I'm not going to take the retardando. But that's it. Alright, here we go. So it's in G major. So I'll put on my hand drone. It's very loud, so I'm going to turn it down for a second. And metronome is back at our full tempo. Drone on. Alright. So, that is it for class reunion. If you have any questions, or if anything doesn't make sense, or if you'd like for me to explain it in a different way, let me know. If you want to see more, also let me know. Until next time, see you later.